So the next thing we will watch is when Gon anime characters snapped. Oh, this should be some wild video.
When looking at a cast of characters in an anime, some people just make a bigger impression. You often have the loud character or the big guy. You know, those guys that you typically would expect to explode in a flurry to save their friends. However, today's list is not about those people. To be honest, I'm a bit more partial to the calmer characters on the side of the spectrum. After all, they make good candidates for today's list, which is going to be about some top moments of a calm character just snapping and raising hell. To shake things up a little bit though, I'm not limiting this list to the full introverted characters. I also want to feature some extroverted or outgoing protagonists who may not be as loud as their mentioned counterparts. Consider this a spiritual successor to the top rage moments, or a retake if you're new to the channel and haven't seen those videos yet. If you fall in the latter especially, I'd like to ask you a little favor and to hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. Now, let's begin.
Levi, yeah, one of my favorite characters. Attack on Titan.
No Eren, that's for sure. And I don't even think that I'll be able to remain composed considering all the things he's been through in the whole of Attack on Titan. However, when he gets into the zone of raging fury, there's little anyone can do to stop Levi. He's got several of these moments, but I'd like to feature the OVA moment because it's one of those early instances and it's something that fewer people might know about. After all, I'm sure everyone and their children already know about him going ham on the Beast Titan. Seriously though, this moment from the OVA is more emotional than anything. You can just feel the power in the scene, and it further exemplifies the things that Levi had to endure to mold him into the strongest soldier that we know and love. Losing friends is never easy, but hearing Levi scream and the pure emotion being channeled in this scene gave me the chills.
Yeah, this was amazing scene. I think Levi is my favorite character from the anime.
Yo, Roy.
Talking about Levi really reminded me of Roy Mustang. It must be the similarities in
I haven't
background,
watched
but I
this.
think they had comparable rage moments where they just go to town against their enemies. However, I'd say that amongst the many scenes of Mustang kicking Homunculus' ass, the execution of Envy is by far the angriest he's ever been. Poor Envy didn't even get to finish his gloating before Mustang appears and incinerates him. People call this a fight, but as I've said in the numerous times I've talked about this before, it's not one. It's truly no contest really, and we see that even a Homunculus's power is useless in the face of repeated, unadulterated violence from an angry Mustang. Yeah, you could argue that in some way Mustang's scene may not be as emotional as Levi's, but in terms of the destruction that happened, I dare to say that this one's more impressive.
Animations are good though. Is this Naruto? I think like there are 10 people that are doing all the voice acting in the anime, in the series or the most famous animes. I'm hearing the same voices.
Okay, how about we move to main characters now then? Gon comes to mind. You all know what I'm talking about. Who could forget this iconic moment when Gon fights Bito and taps into his inner abyss, showing that way past the friendly and outgoing facade of Gon, there lies a darkness that he'd kept hidden for so long. It's truly a horrific yet cathartic moment to see Gon finally access this side of him. And it's pretty cool because unlike Levi or Mustang's moments, you can still see an unsettling calmness in Gon's scene despite him falling completely into nihilism. There's a sense of controlled frenzy, if that's the best way to describe it, and because of that, the moment's found its way into many people's top Hunter x Hunter moments. Before we move on to the next moment, I'd like to take time to thank our sponsors for today's video, ExpressVPN. ExpressVPN is the #1 VPN service that allows you to access the internet like never before. That includes being
Wait. What is this? There is no explanation about this.
Jujutsu Kaisen's storied run has come to an end, but not before it gave us an amazing arc to cap things off. What I like about Jujutsu Kaisen is that throughout its run,
I may choose a new anime to watch.
From the main characters. Everyone knows Gojo and his moments, but it really feels like one got left behind as Jujutsu Kaisen wrapped up a couple of months ago. Megumi's moment came in at episode 23 when he finally leaves his comfort zone in the battle against the curse, pushing himself past his limits with his all-new domain expansion, Chimera's Shadow Garden. And I'm not sure about you, but I feel like it's a surreal sight to see Megumi pull off such a dark and ominous looking ability while bleeding with that crazed face on. Everything from visuals to the voice acting came together to make this a scene to remember. It came late in the show's run, but Jujutsu Kaisen really gave
The animations are kinda different.
First season. This one hurt when I first saw it.
Hikamaru
Seemed to be a standard fantasy demon hunting series with a nifty premise, but I think the one moment which sets it apart from the lot came pretty early on. I'm talking about episode 6, when we get to see the full glory of a raging Hyakimaru who just tears through everyone in his sight. It's a level of violence and anger that I didn't think I'd find in this show at first, but Hyakimaru makes a whole show out of the bloodbath that happens.
Is the show good though?
Remembering the scene there,
I was wondering
of the Levi moment that I talked about, but there's something just so much more
to watch this or not.
Dororo did it. Maybe because the violence was done not against monsters or demons, but people. Or maybe because of how much more graphic it was. Anyway, this is the very scene that showed everyone that despite his quiet and reserved nature, Hyakimaru is something you wouldn't want to trifle with.
I really like animes with good fighting scenes.
In a callback to Gorn's moment, we have another protagonist embracing the emptiness
Mob
within
Psycho
its
100.
question mark percentage form.
Why is this guy bald?
Among the whole gallery of mob's forms that tie to his emotions lies the deep depths of the question mark form, an enormous power that represents the strength that he repressed in order to appear normal. This is by far the most terrifying form of mob, no questions asked. From the whitened eyes, the wildly flaring hair, to the evil-looking aura. Now, imagine if you were some unfortunate slob like Teruki. If seeing that form out of someone you've just been beating up moments ago doesn't give you the creeps,
what kind of anime is this?
The look on Teruki's face after
Some
seeing
bald
the
naked man?
terrifying mob face says it all. This new form of mob literally beats the clothes and hair out of the Kokiteru, although I won't say that he didn't deserve it. In each of its subsequent appearances, this form's unloaded, unadulterated destruction on all that dared oppose it, and you'll quickly understand why the calm and unimposing mob would prefer tucking this form away for good. It's something that you should all look out for if you're someone getting into mob psycho.
Mob Psycho. I may pass on this one.
It's a no-brainer to end the list with the show with the greatest fondness for flipping the switch, so to speak. Gintama's probably the poster child of anime that can shift from comedic and goofy to straight-up epic action and drama. No one embodies that trait better than Gintoki himself. For all the goofiness and relative chill that Gintoki has, he can turn into an unstoppable engine of destruction when the right buttons are pushed, as you see in various instances in the series' storied run. For me, my favorite amongst those
I like the animations here.
is Jirocho. The ambiance is perfect. The rain, the perfect soundtrack, and the sequencing of events and fight choreography make this a standout moment to show your friends. If you can find the fight in high quality, of course.
The fight choreography is very important.
That I can think of off the top of my head. Seriously, just watch the clip and be amazed. Then ask yourself, this is Gintoki? On another note, an interesting thing about this moment is that it's the only moment on the list that doesn't result in a victory for the angry man. Gintoki's so consumed with rage that he never got to fight properly and reasonably, especially against a monster like Jirocho. Gintama's not like one of those anime where getting angry or fighting for those dear to you automatically wins you the fight, you know? As I close the list, I'm always on the lookout for scenes like the ones I just mentioned. So I'd
This
love to hear
naked
your
guy,
suggestions
bro.
of other scenes you'd
Bolt
like to
and
take a look
naked.
at. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to click the thumbs up, and you're free to check out what the channel has to offer. In addition to the membership options and the Patreon, which I'll be linking in the description box, you can also check out my other channel, ViniiTube.
It was a nice video, bro.
My second channel, and
I
it's more
haven't
focused
watched
on video essays
any of
and
this
analysis videos.
except
So if you're
Levi
also
and
looking for a dose of
E
both,
of T.
especially videos on popular series,